Hello everybody, I'm John with JP Strategic Investments, and today we're going to talk about Patriot One technologies and some of the recent updates we've got over the last month or so. We'll talk about these Xtract contracts, the updates to VRS, as well as the NCS4 webinar, and a couple other things. As always, if you find videos like this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and with that out of the way, let's dive right in. So I want to start off with these Xtract contracts that probably a lot of you guys have seen. The first one here is for right about $1.15 million, and that's Canadian dollars. And the next one here is for about 230,000 Canadian dollars. So this is specifically Xtract technologies. It doesn't have to do with the PatScan platform, MSG, or VRS, or anything like that. Now, one of the things that we don't know here is the length of these contracts. So is this $1.15 million over the course of the next year, or 5 years, or even 10 years, right? We don't really know that. So that would be important to know. That is maybe something, maybe we'll get some more information on this in the upcoming webinar. The other thing that I don't think a lot of people caught with this, and I am waiting on a response for this, I'm double checking for you guys, but it says quantity of 4 here. So I don't know whether this $1.15 million here, remember Canadian dollars, is the total of all 4 of these contracts, or if it's just a single contract. I don't know if contract sequence number, whether the 1 necessarily means that this is 1 of 4. So obviously $1.15 million is a lot different than, in this case, about $4.6 million if each one of these contracts is worth $1.15 million and there's 4 of them, right? So that's something that I am double checking on, and I will let you guys know once I get a response. Unfortunately, since I haven't got a response today, which is Friday, I probably won't get a response until Monday, which is when we're going to have the webinar anyway, and we might get some more information on that. But if I do get a response, I'll definitely let you guys know what they say, because as I said, that's a pretty big difference here, whether this is 1 of 4 or whether this is the total of the 4 contracts. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, the other thing that I want to get into here next is this announcement that we got earlier this week on the updates to VRS. So the first update here is high fidelity object recognition. So basically increasing the accuracy, reducing false positives. False positives are something they've talked about multiple times. Peter mentioned it in the webinar. So they say here that VRS automatically validates alerts through multiple camera sources and a combination of analytic or AI analytic engines. Now, one of the things I do want to know here, and maybe we'll hear this on the webinar, is how much is this reduction in false positives increasing the amount of time it takes for an alert to trigger? Because obviously in an active shooter situation, 10 seconds can make a huge difference, and it's a life or death situation, right? So, you know, if this system is now having to verify with at least one other camera angle, they talk about multiple camera sources, well, then does that mean that for this to trigger an alert, for the updated VRS to trigger an alert, do we now have to wait till the person with the gun now moves into the field of view of another camera? Because that could take a little bit, right? In certain angles, in certain places around buildings, in stores and whatnot, there may be only one camera to view. And so, you know, is it having to wait till the perpetrator moves into the field of view of another camera? You know, or is there a way for it to verify it with just one camera? How much longer is this taking, this reduction in false positives? You know, where is the give and take leaving us there? Because that does make a difference. If they're able to increase the accuracy and reduce false positives without really increasing the amount of time it takes for the system to validate the threat and alert the authorities, then that's great. But if there's a trade-off there, I would want to know what type of trade-off that is, right? So that's the main thing I'll say on that. The other thing here is the other kind of update they've done here is people counting, which I think is really it's really underrated here, actually, because what this does is it's now broadened out the market for Patriot One's products, specifically here VRS, to not only a security, like a threat detection technology, right? But this is also helping from a whole nother angle, right? Crowd counting. We also have foot traffic in areas. So counting, how many people are moving through a specific area. Peter mentioned on the webinar with NCS4, which by the way, I don't think gave us really a whole lot of new information, but there were some interesting points there about counting whether or not your concessions are in the right spaces, right? If you're looking at foot traffic through a certain area, determining, okay, well, bathrooms are here, people are walking by, a lot of that you weren't able to do unless you had people stationed there and they were counting who came through where and how many people were coming through here. Now, if you have this VRS system integrated into your cameras, you can just let that AI kind of learn all of that for you and give you a ton of data that you wouldn't have had access to before, which is not only making it more safe, but now more efficient and possibly making you actually more money. So now it's not only an investment from the security standpoint, but it's actually an investment that could make that stadium or casino or whatever the venue is actually even more profitable. So this, I think, is a nice addition for Patriot One on the VRS system, because it could also be one of those kind of tipping points where a customer is maybe thinking, I have Patriot One's VRS, I have this other system, they both provide a decent amount of security, but Patriot One's also has this integrated ability to help me out with crowd management, efficiencies, and all of that. That could be the deciding factor in some customers going with Patriot One versus a competitor. This is a nice addition that is a little bit of a buffer there to help out Patriot One kind of beat out some of its competitors there. So this is a nice addition, I thought, there. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is this tweet we got from Smartest Security. So Smartest Security is a partner of Patriot One that they announced back in late 2019, and what they do is they manufacture turnstiles and other things like that relating to entry point security for buildings and other venues. So they actually tweeted this out yesterday afternoon, and it's talking about their Fastlane Glass Gate 155 turnstiles that are headed to California to secure a Los Angeles skyscraper. And we know from their website actually that these Glass Gate 155 turnstiles, this particular product, does include Patriot One technology. So this is the turnstile here actually. You can see we have the glass gates rather than the standard kind of spindle on normal turnstiles. So looks pretty cool. Should be a nice sale for Patriot One. Now, obviously, if they're just tweeting about it now, probably won't show up on the earnings report that we're going to get in June. Speaking of revenue and sales, it's also been really good to see a lot of the new job listings on Patriot One's website. That's been really encouraging, and there's just been a lot of news like this. It's kind of looking like things are pointing in the right direction, and I think it's kind of now just a matter of time to really get the sales coming in and things like that. So one of the things, though, that I would like to know is kind of how they're going to go about reporting these sales and contracts and things like that. Peter had mentioned kind of a subscription basis, more of a software as a service, which obviously would apply to their VRS and I guess to their MSG, but there is some actual hardware with the MSG. So how they're going to kind of amortize that maybe over time, we'll have to see. Let me know what you guys are expecting in this upcoming webinar. Hopefully we do get some updates on those Xtract contracts and maybe the length of those, how much those actually total up to be, as well as maybe some of this information on how sales are going. I would love to see maybe a customer announced or things like that, but we'll just have to wait until Monday to see. Other than that, I hope you guys found this helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or anything like that. And other than that, have a great day. I'll see you next time.